Rihanna had been holding it together all day. Interviews, meetings, cameras flashing, people constantly pulling her in different directions. To the world, she looked untouchable as always, confident, composed, glowing. But underneath that calm exterior, there was a quiet exhaustion she hadn't let anyone see. By the time she got home that evening, the silence felt almost unfamiliar. No noise, no expectations, just a moment to breathe. She slipped off her heels, let her guard down, and for the first time that day, she allowed herself to just exist. That's when she noticed something was off. The lights in the house were dimmed, softer than usual. There was a faint scent in the air, candles maybe. She frowned slightly, confused. "Hello?" she called out, her voice echoing through the space. No answer. She took a few steps forward, her curiosity growing. Then she saw it, a trail of small lights leading deeper into the house. Not flashy, not over the top, just intentional. Her heart started to beat a little faster. She followed the lights step by step until she reached the main living area. And that's when everything stopped. The room had been completely transformed. Flowers everywhere, soft music playing in the background, and at the center of it all, a setup that didn't scream luxury in the obvious way, but whispered something much deeper. Thought, care, attention to every detail. It wasn't just expensive, it was personal. She brought her hand to her mouth, already feeling her emotions rising. And then she saw him. ASAP Rocky stepped forward slowly, watching her reaction carefully. He wasn't smiling in his usual confident way. There was something softer, almost vulnerable in his expression. "Surprise," he said quietly. Rihanna blinked, trying to process everything at once. What is all this?" she asked, her voice barely steady. He took a breath, glancing around the room before looking back at her. "I know you've been carrying a lot," he said. "More than people realize, and I wanted to give you something back." She shook her head slightly, already overwhelmed. "Rocky, this is too much." But he stepped closer gently. "No," he said, "not enough." Then he began to explain. What she was looking at wasn't just a romantic setup. It was something far bigger, something he had been planning for months without telling her. The space around them wasn't just decorated, it represented something real. A series of investments, properties, and projects, all carefully chosen, all tied to her passions, her vision, her future. A $200 million gesture. But not in the way people would expect. It wasn't about showing off wealth. It was about building something lasting, something that would support her dreams, her family, her legacy. Things she had talked about in passing, late at night, thinking no one was really listening. He had been listening, the entire time. As the realization hit her, Rihanna's composure finally broke. Tears filled her eyes instantly. "Why would you do all this?" she asked, her voice cracking. ASAP Rocky didn't hesitate. "Because you deserve to be taken care of too," he said softly. "You take care of everyone else. I just wanted to show you you're not alone in that." That was it. The tears spilled over. She tried to speak, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, she stepped forward and wrapped her arms around him tightly, holding on like she never wanted to let go. "I don't even know what to say," she whispered through tears. "You don't have to say anything," he replied, holding her just as tight. "Just feel it." And she did. All the stress, the pressure, the expectations she had been carrying, it all came rushing out at once. Not in a dramatic way, but in a deeply human one. The kind of release that only happens when you finally feel safe enough to let go. They stayed like that for a while, just holding each other in the middle of everything he had built for her. After a few moments, she pulled back slightly, wiping her tears, but still smiling. That rare, unguarded smile that only a few people ever got to see. "You really did all this?" she asked again, still in disbelief. He nodded, every bit of it. She shook her head, laughing softly through the tears. "You're crazy, yeah," he said with a small grin. "Crazy about you." That made her laugh for real this time, a light, genuine laugh that filled the room. But the emotion didn't disappear. It stayed there, just beneath the surface, reminding her of what this moment really meant. It wasn't about the money. It wasn't even about the gesture itself. It was about being seen, fully, deeply, without having to ask for it. And in that moment, Rihanna wasn't the global icon everyone knew. She was just a woman who felt loved, completely, unexpectedly, and overwhelmingly so. And that was what finally made her break down in tears. The room was quiet in a way that felt almost sacred. Soft lighting, the faint hum of the city beyond the glass walls, and a stillness that carried the weight of something about to happen. Rihanna stood near the window, arms folded loosely, her gaze drifting over the skyline but not really seeing it. She had been through so much in her life: global fame, relentless pressure, building an empire from the ground up. But nothing had quite prepared her for the moment that was about to unfold. Behind her, Azap Rocky watched quietly, his expression unusually serious. This wasn't about headlines, cameras, or spectacle. This was personal, deeply personal. "Ree," he said softly. She turned, her face calm but curious. "What's going on? You've been acting different all day." He took a breath, as if steadying himself. For someone known for confidence and swagger, this moment stripped everything down to raw emotion. "I've been thinking a lot about us, about everything we've built. Not just the brands, not the music, but this," he said, gesturing between them. Rihanna tilted her head slightly, a faint smile forming. "You're scaring me a little," she teased, though there was a hint of vulnerability in her voice. He walked closer, slower this time. "You've carried so much, Ree. You've given so much, to the world, to your family, to me. And I realized I don't just want to stand beside you. I want to build something that protects you." She blinked, caught off guard by the intensity in his tone. Then he said it. "I made a move, a big one." She raised an eyebrow. "Define big, Rocky." He hesitated for just a second, then let it out. 200 million. Silence. Not the kind of silence filled with confusion, but the kind that hits like a wave before the emotion catches up. Rihanna stared at him, searching his face to see if he was serious. "You're joking," she said quietly. "I'm not," he replied. "It's set up, investments, property, long-term security. It's for you, for us, for our future, our family, so no matter what happens, you're covered. Always." For a moment, she didn't move. Rihanna, global icon, billionaire, one of the most composed women in the public eye, just stood there, completely stunned. Then her expression changed. The strength in her eyes softened, her lips trembled slightly, and before she could stop it, tears welled up. Not the kind you hide or brush away, but the kind that come from somewhere deep, somewhere unguarded. "Why would you?" she started, her voice breaking. She turned away briefly, covering her mouth as emotion rushed over her. Rocky stepped closer but didn't touch her yet. He knew this wasn't about interrupting the moment. It was about letting her feel it. "Because you deserve it," he said gently. "You've always been the one holding everything together. I just wanted to give something back, something real." She shook her head, tears slipping down her cheeks now. "People don't do this, Rocky. Not like this." "I'm not people," he replied simply. That did it. Rihanna let out a soft, breathless laugh through her tears, the kind that comes when your heart is overwhelmed. She stepped forward and wrapped her arms around him tightly, holding on like she didn't want to let go. "You're crazy," she whispered. "Yeah," he said, smiling against her hair, "but I'm yours." She pulled back slightly, looking at him through tear-filled eyes. "It's not even about the money," she said. "It's what it means. You thought about me, about taking care of me in a way I didn't even realize I needed." Her voice cracked again, and she wiped her tears, though they kept coming. "I've always been the strong one," she continued softly, "the one who handles everything. And for once, I feel like I can just be. I don't have to carry it all." Rocky nodded, his own eyes glistening now. "That's all I wanted." The room, once quiet, now felt full of emotion, history, love, and something even deeper, trust. Rihanna exhaled slowly, leaning her forehead against his. "You really got me crying like this," she said, half laughing, half crying. "Unbelievable." "Worth it?" he asked. She smiled, a real, unfiltered smile. "Yeah," she said softly, "more than worth it." And in that moment, it wasn't about fame, wealth, or the outside world watching their every move. It was about two people, standing in a quiet room, redefining what love, partnership, and loyalty looked like, on their own terms. Because sometimes, the biggest gestures aren't just about what's given. They're about what's finally understood.